Hi.
What happened to you?
It's minor. It's nothing. I tripped. I'll lift.
Well, listen, come on, sit down.
Thank you.
How's Laura?
Oh, she's steadily improving. In fact, when I left the hospital just now, she was sleeping soundly. I've had to talk to you all day, Monica. I came here tonight because it was just impossible to talk with you during the day.
I know.
Monica, a lot of things have happened in my life since we were together.
Well, a lot of things have happened in mine, too.
Look, I can't put this off another second. You have to believe that I was totally sincere when I said I hoped that we could start our life together in 3 months. And Laura's accident.
Yes, I know, Rick. Listen, so many times I wanted to let you know just how shocked I was at the whole thing. But I just felt we had cut off from each other.
I know, I'm sure you did. There's been one shock and emergency and revelation after another for me. Monica, I realized that a lot of things that I thought were dead, a lot of feelings that I thought were buried for the last few months, are still alive. And they are just as real as the commitments that go with them.
I understand.
I hope you do. It's important to me that you do. You are very important to me. And I have to know that you do understand.
Rick, look, maybe I can make it easier. Really. I was doing a lot of thinking today, too. Realizing a lot of things. And what we talked about in your hotel room. A wonderful, crazy dream that we both know never could happen.
Could have once.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If things have been different then, but we can't ignore what's happened since then. And I realized that my place is with Alan. And I know that you realize your place is with Leslie and Laura. And not just because you love them, but because they're both a part of your life. A big part. Anyway, I'm going back to Alan.
Monica, you will always be very special to me. Always, you have to know that.
I do.
Monica.
Look,
Monica,
don't say anything, okay? I'm grateful for you coming over. And I understand.
I guess I better get back to the hospital. I left Leslie there sleeping, and if Laura's still improving, I should get Leslie home where she'll be a little more comfortable. Good night.
Rick?
Yes.
Nothing. Just... Good luck.
Thank you. If I haven't, I think things work out. You are responsible for a major part of it.
Hello, Ann.
Steve, how's Laura?
Making wonderful progress, I'm happy to say. Steadily improving.
Hello, Steve. I was hoping I'd find you. Do you have some time, please?
Yes, a little.
Could we step into the lounge?
Of course I will.
This isn't an easy admission for me to make, but I must.
Admission concerning what?
Sit down, will you, Steve? There's no sense whatsoever me trying to fill you in on the background of this, because the chances are it's going to sound like an excuse, and that's the last thing that I want it to be. The fact is, for personal reasons, I deliberately tried to change the Hardwick Board's mind about Rick's appointment.
What? Alan, I'm shocked to hear you say such a thing.
I said it wasn't an easy admission to make. But following that, I also must tell you that I am doing everything in my power to undo any of the harm that I have done. And that also includes dealing with those personal feelings that caused it in the first place.
How do you mean?
Well, I've already spoken to Larry Forsythe, and I have told him in no uncertain terms that I still believe that Rick is the best man for the job.
I see.
Larry has promised to take another vote with the board and see whether they'll reconfirm our original offer to Rick. That is the easy part, Steve.
Go on.
If you want to replace me in this project now, I'll certainly understand why.
Well, I don't think there's any need to do that, Alan. You've been very honest with me, and I know the courage it took. Just as long as you've gotten hold of those feelings that were responsible for it. Now, what about the bi-monthly reports the board insisted on?
They're no longer necessary.
Good. I know Rick will be very relieved to hear that.
One thing more, Steve. I do want Rick to hear about this from me first. I'm going to try and get together with him tomorrow. At the same time, I will tell him that the changes that I made in his second report were minimal.
I must say, Alan, I admire your guts.
It's the least I can do to put things right. I only hope he's as understanding as you've been.
Sensible that Tracy would go to such lengths to destroy your marriage with Alan, even though she finally admitted it to me. My own daughter.
But Lila, look, I didn't even want to say anything about it. The fact is, I gave Tracy the ammunition. Everything she needed, just by lying to Alan all those weeks.
Well as I know Tracy, I still find it shocking. And poor Alan, he thinks he's lost you forever now. Oh, Monica, that can't be true.
Well, Lila, you know, sometimes things happen when you're apart. Things that just make it impossible to go back together.
Darling, life is one long series of happenings that change people's lives. But if two people really want to make that relationship work, it can. No matter what happens along the way. I know that.
Just not quite that simple.
Monica, when I asked you to meet me here this morning, I told you that there was a part of my life that I wanted to share with you, in the hopes that it might help you find your way back to Alan.
Yes, you said it was something that you'd never told either Alan or Tracy. What is it? Lila, I can't imagine anything anything happening that would keep you two apart, even temporarily.
It's true, Monica. And during that time, I was tempted more than once to ask him for a divorce, in spite of the children and their welfare.
But what could have happened that would make you even consider a divorce?
Well, darling, fortunately, this is something that you won't have to face with Alan. But Edward always had an eye for beautiful women. I knew this before I married him, but I thought I could live with it. But I was wrong.
You mean he was unfaithful to you?
Oh, more than once, dear. And one day, a well-meaning friend came to me and told me that Edward had a mistress, and that this time it was more serious than his other flirtations.
Well, did you confront him with this?
Well, of course I did, darling.
And he wouldn't give her up?
Well, I'm afraid that it was rather more complicated than Edward just going to this woman and telling her that it was all over between them.
Why?
Well, you see, my dear, she gave him a son.
Oh, would you do me a favor?
Yes, you did. If you hadn't approved, Gail wouldn't have called me.
Well, I I didn't want you to be disappointed.
I was hoping it meant a sign of encouragement.
Look, this is not the time to talk about anything when this one here is scared to death we're going to be late.
Yes, Ellen, I really am kind of anxious. Could we get
Yes,
going?
absolutely. I don't want you like that. Come on, let's go.
Listen, do I have to... Yes. And all yes, everything only...
Go on, go on, go on. Question earlier on. Do I take it as a hopeful sign, just being included here? Give me a chance, Monica. Come back to me. Take me back. Let me prove to you how much I love you.
I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I'm willing to at least give it a try.
You won't be sorry. I love you so very much. You made me so happy.
I hope you'll always be that way.
I know I will. I'd given up hope. I felt so lost and desperate.
Yes, I know that feeling.
How grateful I am for you giving me this second chance.
But I don't want gratitude. If anything, a promise that things will be different.
You will. I've already spoken to Peter Taylor, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to come to terms with my jealousy once and for all.
I hope so. I hope so for your sake.
For our sake. I'm going to make it all up to you. I promise I will.
What? What are you staring at?
Looking in your eyes. I don't know how I could have ever been fool enough to believe that you would have ever been unfaithful to me.